Hi everyone, Miss Longley here. Today we are going to be working on task 4 of the Ecology Map project. Just to kind of recap where we've been so far, remember in task 1 you were to select a biome and pin 3 locations found in that biome. In task 2 you were to narrow that down and pick a specific ecosystem. It could have been one of your 3 locations if you did choose that. And you researched one endangered species found in that ecosystem. In task 3, you were to research 4 native species that are found in that same ecosystem. And that brings us to task 4, which is where you are going to be researching HIPCO components that relate to your ecosystem. So let's take a look at what that means. I'm going to hide myself here so we can see the full screen. And here's what task 4 is all about. So you're going to be researching ways that human activities, all 6 letters of HIPCO, are affecting the organisms and the environment found in your ecosystem. So you will have at least 1 pin per HIPCO component. So 1 pin for the letter H, 1 pin for the letter I, and so on. So here are some ideas on what you might pin for your ecosystem. It could be cities or companies, government buildings that both have positive and negative impacts on the environment. So do include some that do have a positive impact if you can find them. Areas of major disruptive activities. So you could do something on agriculture. Is there any nearby farms or wineries or anything that has to do with agriculture near your ecosystem? Maybe logging's a big issue, or mines, or oil drilling, fishing, tourism. So if you did like coastal areas, tourism with beaches, that could be something to look into. Another one is indigenous human communities. Who are the indigenous people that live near or in that ecosystem? You might pin something related to that. And then locations of invasive species. Do make sure that for the invasive species, you do note where they originally came from and where are they currently now. So where they live now in your ecosystem, but also pin where they originally came from in the world. So these are the 3 things that you'll be including in each of your pins. You need the title and the description for the human activity that you've pinned. Explain how this pin relates to one of the components of HIPCO, and include a picture. So for Team Biology's example, we actually pinned several for some of the letters of HIPCO. So we have for the letter H, habitat destruction. We have logging, farming. We also have Saving the Redwoods League. And you can see the rest here. I'm going to take you over to our map so you can kind of see how we placed these pins. All right, so looking at our map, you can see the final layer. It's called Human Impacts HIPCO. This is where all of your pins will go. You can kind of make them fancy depending on what they're about by changing the icons. So let's take a look at the login one. So I'm going to click on that pin here, and I'm going to zoom in so you can see it a little bit closer as to where I pinned it on my map. All right. So logging is part of the habitat destruction, and I give a little portion about why it is a problem. So between the 1800s and 1970s, a large portion of California's old growth redwood trees were cut down and used to build things like decks for people's houses. So you can see here, like we did more than 6 pins, and you're more than welcome and / encouraged to do as many as you can. But the minimum is for sure 6 pins, 1 for each letter of HIPCO. So here's another one, urbanization of the Bay Area. And sometimes you may find that some pins overlap with each other, and that's totally fine. But you do need at least 6 for your map. To start researching this, it might be best to start with Googling like your ecosystem and kind of looking at your map and seeing what urban areas are nearby, and get creative with finding different threats that are happening in your ecosystem. All right, so that is task 4. This one probably is going to take the longest to research and fully find all those 6 components. But hopefully at this point, you're very invested in your ecosystem, and good luck.